Watch the Mega Millions drawing live tonight here on TV23. Covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, and it's February 23rd, 2016. I almost forgot what day it is. Welcome to High Plains Today. Although I do know in 1896, the Tootsie Roll was invented. So there you go. On today's show, I'll be joined by Mr. Rex Bruce. He is the superintendent of USD 374. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happening in Topeka and how it affects them here in Sublette. In the meantime, let's take a look at some of the stuff that's happening. At 10:28 p.m. Saturday, Liberal firefighters were called to 601 North Missouri Avenue for a report of a residential structure fire. Now, first arriving units found a single-family dwelling with fire venting from a window and a doorway on the front of the residence. Liberal Police Department personnel reported that all occupants of the home were accounted for. At the time the fire was discovered, 3 adults and 4 children were inside and were able to escape without injury. Now, the exact cause of the fire is still undetermined. Well, the Great Bend swim team is facing another sex crime allegation. Saline County Sheriff Captain Roger Saldan says that an alleged sex assault happened on a bus as the team was driving home from a swim meet at Salina South High School on February 3rd. According to Saldan, the team ate at a Wendy's restaurant following the meet. After leaving the restaurant to head back to Great Bend, a 15-year-old was the victim of a sexually related assault on the bus. Saldan says that there is only one person accused in the incident. The 15-year-old, accompanied by a parent, reported the alleged crime on Saturday in Salina. Now, the allegation is the second involving the swim team. And the USD 457 Board of Education plans to discuss proposals to refinance the district's bond issues passed in 2009 in a special meeting at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, the meeting called by President Laura Boers will take place in the board meeting room at the Educational Support Center on Fleming Street. And mark your calendar for a legislative brown bag with Senator Garrett Love and Representative Shannon Francis on Monday, February 29th at noon at the Depot in Liberal. Now, they will update attendees on current issues. Now, come bring your lunch. There will be tea and cookies provided for this informational meeting. And the Kansas House has rejected a measure aimed at calling a convention of the states to propose changes in the U.S. Constitution. The vote yesterday was 77-47 for a resolution pushed by conservative Republicans unhappy with the federal government's reach. Supporters needed a 2/3 majority of 84 votes in the 125-member chamber. Supporters said a convention could propose ideas for lessening the federal government's power. Now, critics question whether a convention scope could be limited. The U.S. Constitution says Congress must call a convention if it gets applications from 2/3 of the states. Any proposal approved by such a convention must be ratified by legislatures in 3/4 of the states. Lawmakers in 5 other states have approved the state resolution. And former Kansas Governor Kathleen Sebelius yesterday endorsed the candidacy of previous U.S. Secretary of State and U.S. Senator Hillary Clinton for the Democrat Party's nomination for president. Sebelius, a Democrat who served with Clinton in the administration of President Obama, said Clinton possessed knowledge and qualities required of the federal government's chief executive. Now, caucus races for Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are set for March 5th here in Kansas. Republicans and Democrats will caucus separately at dozens of sites across the state to determine the state's presidential preferences. And that's a look at some of the stuff that's happening out there. Kind of a cloudy, windy day today. We'll be back with the weather after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV23 with host Chris Jewell. TV23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters, always here for you, wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
Now, the local weather forecast for the High Plains.
And as we look from the TV23 tower cam, you can see pretty cloudy out there, and as it's got a little shake to it, means there's a little wind out there. Let's take a look at the readings here at the station. 43 degrees, 54% humidity, winds are out of the north at 20. Barometric pressure is on the rise. Looking at the current temps around the area, everybody pretty much in the 40s. Look at that, Hayes clear up at 50. Guyman kind of lagging behind at 39 degrees. Everybody else in the 40s. Looking at our current dew points, they are pretty high today with our temperature, so that's what causes the humidity to come up as well. Looking at our wind speeds, yeah, everybody's got wind today. Everybody in the 20s except you get over to Medicine Lodge. Look at them, they've only got 16-mile-an-hour winds. Just a little breeze over there. Everybody else in the 20s and 30s. Looking at our highs and lows as recorded at the Garden City Regional Airport, we had a high of 55 yesterday. Not going to see that today. 88 back in 1982 was the record, and 27 was the low last night. Ooh, 1 back in 2013. It's not that long ago. I don't remember it. Looking at our forecast for today, it's going to be mostly cloudy later this afternoon, though. The winds are going to move those clouds out of there. Imagine that. We're going to have a high of 50. Maybe. Winds are going to be out of the north at 25, gusting up to 35, 36 miles an hour. So, yep, it's going to be breezy. Tonight, mostly clear, going to be a little cooler than it has been the last couple of nights. 22 for the low. Winds are going to be out of the north-northwest at 25. Not really going to be laying down, gusting up to 36. Going to go down to below 20 well after midnight. And then tomorrow, going to start warming up again. Climbing towards the weekend. 56 our high tomorrow. It's going to be sunshiny. Winds will only be out of the northwest at 14, which is going to be pretty nice compared to today. Tomorrow night, 23 our low. Still going to be pretty chippy out there. Winds will be out of the north-northwest at 13. Looking at the 7-day, look at that. See, we're going to start climbing back into the 50s and the 60s. Close to 70 on Saturday. I'd say we get into the 70s. Yeah, probably down in the southern end of the viewing area. Otherwise, lows are going to be starting to climb back up into the high 20s, low 30s. That's a look at our weather. Be back with the markets after this.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. People are people around here. That's how it is, it's so clear. Oh, letting it show. I've been around
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
And welcome back. I'm now joined by Rex Bruce. He is the superintendent of USD 374 right here in Sublette, America. Good to see you today.
Good to be here.
All right, let's talk about some stuff that's happening in Topeka, America.
Okay.
That's kind of affected school districts, not just in southwest Kansas, but all over the state of Kansas. Now, the one big thing is, and we were talking before we came back from commercial about Capers. Now, Capers is last year, you know, with the block grant and everything, and everybody said, oh, we threw in $300 million to public education, et cetera, but it all went to Capers, which really, if you think about it, cannot be used in the classroom, correct?
Correct.
But they bolstered the Capers, but now they're talking about, all right, we're going to pull back $100 million or so. We may throw $56 million into the state budget and take that out of education and Capers because we're running low on money. So what's that going to do to everybody when this Capers deal finally runs out?
It's going to affect us a lot. You know, this isn't the first year. You know, in the last 15 years, there's been 3 or 4 times that they've not funded Capers. You know, the employees put their 4%, 5%, 6%, whatever it happened to be that year in, and the state's obligations, sometimes they've chosen not to put that in. I've heard people say, well, they're not taking any money out of Capers, which is true, but they're not putting their amount in, which is one of the reasons Capers is in the problem that it's in.
Well, yeah, and there's one thing that I don't think that people understand is when the state of Kansas sends say USD 374, your allotment for your CAPERS money, it's basically a pass-through.
I send it back the same day.
Yep. It just kind of, it hits the bank and turns around and goes right back, doesn't
Right.
it? So you guys never see it.
No.
But yet
never.
it's counted.
Right, and it's figured into total school expenditures.
Right. So that was always strange to me how that always played out that way. I mean, how can you count money you don't have?
It's strange, but really it's
political,
for
isn't it?
purpose. That's correct.
Okay, so do you think so? And there's a couple of deals that and we call them in the education business they call them double dips, right? If you've been working in a district and you retire from there and you're collecting CAPERS or whatever, I mean, how exactly does it work?
I call it maximizing your pension benefits. I'm not doing it currently, but we have some employees.
Well, every district has them.
Yeah, yours. It's evolved over time. You used to you could retire after your age and your experience equal 85 points. You could retire, draw full CAPERS, and go to another district and work and make both full salary and your maximize your pension. Then districts said, why should we? I'll use me for example. I've been in my district 12 years. They spent a lot of money training me, sending me to conferences, workshops.
Sure.
So now if I decide to retire and I want to go to another district, all of that investment from USD 374 is going to be utilized in another district. And we went to the CAPERS group and said, why should we have to lose it? So they changed it. So you could retire and stay at the same district then. Well, then it's evolved and now you can retire and stay, but you have to pay a 25% surcharge of your salary. I've got a teacher doing it. They draw full CAPERS, they draw full salary, but they have to pay CAPERS a 25% surcharge out of their salary.
Okay. All right. And then that's scheduled to sunset here in a year or two?
Yes,
next year?
Next year.
Okay. So now, do you think that maximizing all of this, the way that teachers and educators are doing, is that going to affect, say, the number of teachers that we will lose in the state of Kansas, especially in western Kansas?
I think the poll, Dale Dennis did a survey, and I believe it was 3,000 teachers across the state, which isn't a lot compared to the total number, but 3,000 to 5,000, don't have the exact number, would possibly be affected and not, would lose them. And a lot of those places are our most veteran teachers who I believe are at the peak of their career. And again, I say we've invested thousands and thousands of dollars into getting them to the point they are, and now we lose
plus
them.
you're using those experienced teachers to help mentor new teachers coming into your district, right?
All the issues that they bring to the table, the knowledge, the knowledge to kids in the classroom, mentoring, all those things are crucial. And you lose those people, and it's a big loss.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get off of CAPERS real quick. Let's talk about now. The latest thing in Kansas is we've got House Bill 2676, and they're talking about prohibiting or doing away with Common Core standards in the state of Kansas. And this is one of those deals where the legislature is starting to step on the toes of the Kansas State Board of Education. So if we do away with Common Core, aren't we kind of stepping backwards?
Definitely. It's a shame. I wish our state board and our state Department of Education could make those decisions. And it's kind of disheartening that they work so hard on all this, and then it's criticized and possibly not funded at the state level. And for instance, we needed new mathematics textbooks and curriculum 5 to 6 years ago, and I allot money, and for us that's about $100,000 expenditure for the small district of Sublette.
Oh yeah, so I can imagine what it'd be for Liberal or Garden or Dodge City.
Sure.
Yeah.
We got 485 kids, give or take, and we're looking at $100,000. So we were ready to buy them. Well, then that was when the first Common Core was coming up that they might unfund it. So we held off, and we held off, and we held off. Now, of course, that was money that I'd put away in a cash balance. It looked like a high cash balance, but I was earmarking it for new math books, $100,000.
Topeka doesn't like that either.
Exactly. So I had it there. Well, finally, our curriculum team came to me and said, we have to do something. And through the board, myself, we said, let's charge it, knowing full well if they pass this, we got to throw the books away.
So it kind of puts not just Sublette, but pretty much every district in the state of Kansas who's gone on, because this would do away or have to set, again, new math and language arts standards for everybody in the state, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and that would change textbooks, that would change testing, on and on and on. And, my challenge to anyone that's opposed to Common Core, there's some Common Core standards I don't know that are the best. There were some old standards I didn't think were the best. There's any state standards, I'm going to find something I don't like. You'll find something you don't like. Well, I challenge the anti-Common Core people to not throw them away. Let's tweak them. Let's sit down together and let's find. And we've challenged last year at State Superintendent's Council. We challenged both the Senate and the House President to sit down with us and tell us which Common Core standards they don't like. And
could they tell you? That's a big thing.
Matter of fact, one of them said, I'm sorry, but I haven't read them. That was the response. My answer is you need to read them. And then let's sit down and let's find those bad ones. Let's get rid of them for Kansas. And let's tweak them to what everybody likes and what we want the students of Kansas to learn. And how easy is that?
And the thing about Common Core that just is kind of ironic is this was put together by a bunch of Republican governors and a bunch of business people, correct?
Yeah, I think.
And now it's Republicans are so anti-Common Core all of a sudden because they think that the federal government is trying to mandate this, right?
Right.
And that's not the way it is.
Not exactly, but in an offhanded way. A few years back, there were race to the top funds, millions and millions and millions of dollars that states could apply for. One of the criteria in the rubric to score well on this grant application was you had to adopt Common Core. So they kind of forced Common Core on if you want to apply for Race to the Top funds, and we wanted to. That's a lot of money. So yes, it was kind of pushed on us. That's the part of Common Core I didn't like. The standards are fine. It's just how it was pushed. If you want to get this money, you've got to do this. They also threw in if you want to get Race to the Top money, you have to come up with a standardized assessment tool, and that assessment has to be based on student progress, which Kansas has never had.
Which seems really likely. That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Rex, we're running out of time. You're going to come back and talk to us more about this later, aren't you?
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks for coming by today.
Enjoyed it.
We could go on and on about all this, can't we?
I could sit here for days.
All right. We'll do that maybe. All right. Stick around. I'll be back with more after this. Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV23.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. Check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. This is the
And welcome back. Well, with one of the top seeds at next month's Big 12 Conference Tournament still up for grabs, Isaiah Taylor knew number 25 Texas couldn't afford to lose on the road this late in the season to an inexperienced Kansas State team. So when push came to shove late, Taylor provided the type of clutch effort a team needs to grind out road wins in league play. Now the junior guard scored 19 points, including a three-pointer to all but ice the game with less than a minute to play, and Texas held on to beat K-State 71-70 last night in Manhattan. Man, that was so close for them. And following wins over Oklahoma State and Kansas State, the Jayhawks still at number 2 in the new AP poll. Gap between Kansas and top-ranked Villanova remains pretty close, however, as they're separated by just 24 votes. Last week's win stretched the Jayhawks winning streak to 7, which includes 3 wins away from Allen Fieldhouse. Man, they got to start winning them on the road. They had dropped each of their previous 3 road games. Now, Wichita State received 33 votes in this week's poll, which would slot Greg Marshall and company at number 29. The Shockers are coming off of a big win that gave them their 3rd straight Missouri Valley Conference title. And Pablo Sandoval showed up yesterday at the Red Sox training camp. He was a little overweight, kind of like me. Now let's take a last look at the weather before we get out of here today. Temperature still 44 degrees, relative humidity 49%, winds are out of the north-northeast at 22, barometric pressure on the rise. As we look at our 7-day coming up, look at that, we're going to start climbing, the winds are going to go down, and the weather is going to start getting into the 50s and 60s. I'm going to say we're going to get to 70 maybe on Saturday. Lows in the 20s and 30s. Go out and make it a good Tuesday, everybody. See you back here tomorrow.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kdgltv.com.
They've given you encouragement, given you perspective, given you love when you needed it most. It's unthinkable that their generosity could be taken advantage of. Thanks to a new law in Kansas, financial abuse of an elder person is now a serious crime. If you or someone you know is being financially abused, you have the power to act. Together, we can protect the ones who have protected us for so long. Call 1-800-922-5330 for help.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.